Welcome back to Bust Picks. My name is Dio Reynoso.
Don Behan, how we doing?
And Don, it happened. I'm the hottest gambler in the world again.
Yeah, you did really good last week.
Shout
really
out
hot.
to the Kansas City Chiefs, as some of you may know. I put my life on the line. I put everything I had on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
they came out
big units.
Money line. Will I do it again this week? That's
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I do want to talk about something.
Sure.
Before we get into fact of the day and question of the day.
Okay.
There's been a couple coaching things that have been happening.
Yeah. Well, the Harbaugh signing to the Chargers.
So Harbaugh signing to the Chargers.
Yep.
I think I'm going to take my question of the day first.
Okay.
What we're going to call
Yeah,
it.
let's hear it.
What has been the best head coaching hire of the offseason so far? So we've got Jim Harbaugh becoming the Chargers head coach.
Yep.
We have the Rams defensive coordinator becoming the Falcons head coach because Bill Belichick apparently does not want to be a head coach for this year.
Well, it's not an official signing as far as I saw, but it's rumored second interview.
No, they're hired.
They're hired.
He's
I didn't
locked
see
in.
that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that come through yet.
Yeah, and then
So I know Panthers just signed.
they just signed their offensive coordinator from the
I think not the Bucks.
the Bucks.
Yeah,
the Bucks
the
offensive
Bucks.
coordinator, and then the Titans signed the Bengals offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And then it sounds like Detroit's offensive coordinator has come to a pretty much full agreement with the Commanders' offensive coordinator, or with the Commanders' position, leaving the only vacancy now, Seattle.
Which is interesting.
Vrabel feels like a natural fit, even though Dan Quinn's really been a part of that organization.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're going to go with who can go win you games now, I think Vrabel's better for that role at the moment. If you're trying to build a team and build a culture, I think Dan Quinn would be the better option.
But Dan Quinn's been part of that culture. Do you think it just perpetuates like everything?
No, because he stepped away. Because Dan Quinn was that architect behind the Legion of Boom in a lot of ways. He's been that defensive-minded coach in a lot of ways that helped bring them up forward. And then he stepped away for a few years, and we saw that defense kind of shift in a lot of ways. I think it brings the culture back to where it was a few years ago.
I like Dan Quinn. I think he's a good head coach. I think Vrabel's a better head coach.
Agreed. I think Vrabel's more of a player's coach.
I think Vrabel's going to take a year off, really assess like what he wants to see. Maybe he didn't like the teams. He hasn't really taken an interview yet.
No,
he's kind of taken a backseat in this.
He's been kind of quiet. I haven't really seen a whole lot, a lot of speculation around his name, not a lot of actual reports for him.
That's what I'm saying. I would love to see the Seattle Seahawks go after the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, who put on a master class last week. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Against, the Texans, really only holding them to 3 points, but him being in that offense, it's kind of a young Dan Quinn, young Pete Carroll-esque guy who can build a new system for that organization. But I'm pretty sure you're doing everything you can in your power to keep him.
Yeah, we want to keep him on the team. Like he's
amazing.
built our defense to be incredible. So ever since Wink left, so like it's
Martindale, man.
He needs to stay.
Yeah, Wink Martindale's coaching tree is so sick. It's so sick. It's quite literally the opposite of Bill Belichick's.
True.
Don, give me a fact.
So fact of the day, and it's more relevant to what's been going on. More I'm seeing is like we're based out of LA, and we've been seeing a lot more gearing up and a lot more talk about the Olympics and the upcoming.
I call them the Olympics, but
the Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Auntie Donna.
Yeah.
So fact of the day: did you know that in the first modern day Olympics, 1894 was considered the first modern day Olympics? They gave out silver medals if you won first place. They didn't convert to the gold medal for first place until 1904, 2 Olympics later.
Well, so you just got a silver medal before 1904?
Yes, because silver medal.
Well, what were they doing before 1904? Like what? Just running? They didn't do cool.
It was
sports.
more track and field. It was more track and field based.
No
than
one was
anything.
dunking. I'll tell you that, and that's really the only Olympics like that matters.
I mean, they might bring in flag football. Would that matter?
Yeah, flag football would be sick. And, like, swimming's cool when Michael Phelps is in it and we're dominating. Gymnastics is fire when Simone Biles.
Insane.
Yeah, but, like, track and field, like, they can have that. We don't win that one, so I'm, like, not super into it.
we place pretty well typically.
We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get Tyreek out there.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta get the dogs out there chasing.
There we go.
No, I like it. Guys, It's a very special episode. It's time for the Royal Rumble this weekend.
Yes.
Don is a diehard WWE fan. He's
Big wrestling fan and overall.
For sure. Yeah, you watch multiple leagues, even some in like Japan and
Yeah, I watch
China
New
and
Japan,
Mexico and like
AAA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a fan. AEW, like you like a lot of stuff.
Fan of the
Royal
sport.
Rumble weekend.
I think this is I'm more of a fan of Royal Rumble than WrestleMania in certain aspects.
Why? Because anything can happen?
Yeah, it's more built around the surprise guests. It's
Okay.
more built around the excitement, the idea of it's not as technically good for wrestling at all. But
I'm not in it for the technically good.
Yeah, you're not in for the technical side, but I mean for the idea of this is when I could just sit back, hang out with friends, watch it, and it's the most enjoyable for casual viewers.
That's this guy right here.
Yes.
I'm the casual everything. I love just like casually watching sports. It's fun, except for football. I get like a little
You get a little
crazy.
into it.
Yeah, I've been doing like film study. It's been
You're already
great.
prepping for the draft,
It's been
I
great.
know.
Draft season's gonna be great for this show.
Oh gosh.
WWE Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Don's gonna go through, give me some storylines. I'm really gonna follow your lead.
Okay.
So where do we start?
First big storyline right now,
Okay.
and it came out last Monday.
Monday Night
For
Raw.
us was Seth Rollins actually tore his MCL. That was a big news because
Seth Rollins
the current
tore his MCL
tore his MCL and then partially torn meniscus in
on
his
Monday.
knee. He tore it last Monday.
Yeah.
And then he came out on when he was facing Jinder Mahal for the championship.
Definitely know who that is.
One of the only 30 champions in WWE history, but he had a short reign and
Cool.
it was controversy filled. Faced him, tore his MCL during the match, came out with the knee brace this Monday, and announced he's going to take 3 to 4 months to recover, realistically.
Yeah. So
That
no
puts him-
WrestleMania.
He might come back for WrestleMania. He might be back in time. He's said he's planning on it, but I think it's going to be a good storyline.
What do they say? Plans change when you tear your ACL and meniscus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes. But we'll see what happens there. But that is a big shift in a lot of ways, I feel, in storyline directions.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you're having to plan for a top champion with an injury.
I'm a casual wrestling fan. Seth Rollins is one of the guys that gets me out of my seat, that gets me really excited. I did not know about this injury, so like this makes me kind of sad about like, because I do like seeing him. I think he's fun. I think his personality is there. He's kind of built a brand that's kind of like a bad boy, but like a good bad boy, like chaotic evil.
Yeah,
like
he's
chaotic
good in a lot of ways. The most flamboyant guy in outfits.
Love
so I'm
it.
going to
I
miss
love
that for a
flamboyant
little
boys.
weeks.
Yeah. So what else? Because there's a couple other storylines that.
So there's a few other building in the two big matches outside the Rumbles.
Gotcha.
We have the world title match, which is going to be a 4-way between Roman Reigns,
Dog.
Randy Orton, who
I
came
don't-
back from his back injury
I
and
don't
just
think-
looks incredible.
I don't think people talk about how much of like a actual demon this man looks like.
He does. He looks like a psycho.
Nah, he looks like he's a wrestling persona at all times. Like he does not look like a fun man to hang out with to me.
I mean, the fact that he like have you seen his social media platform at all?
You know I haven't.
No. Most of his videos he puts up are just him RKOing family members.
That's so sick.
Like most of the time it's into a pool or something. Like it's into something,
yeah,
but
it's like, watch out. It's Randy Orton. Yeah,
exactly. But
I
that's
remember
most
that.
of his thing is just like running up behind his kids
good
and
brand.
just throwing him in the pool like that.
Good brand.
It's great.
So Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, who's like the tribal chief. He wrestled like 6 times in 47 years.
Yeah, he's part timing right now.
And you know, he's a dog. I know a lot of people still see him as the guy who cocks his fist and punches people as like his finisher, but like he's become so much of a bigger name of a wrestler than that.
Yeah, the storyline
He's the
around the
face.
bloodline is incredible.
It's awesome.
It's
Super awesome.
been good. And then you have the other two in the match is going to be AJ Styles, who
I know AJ Styles.
great technical wrestler.
Yeah, really good
great,
wrestler.
great performer. And then LA Knight.
All right. I'm gonna get some takes off about LA Knight.
I figured.
I want to like LA Knight.
Yes.
I'm a casual fan. I tune in every maybe once a month. I like check in. I get some TikTok feeds, some Twitter feeds.
Sure.
So I'm not like super day in, day out grinding out. LA Knight is a guy who has risen very, very quickly in the past year.
Yes, they have strapped a rocket ship to his back.
And he has flown, and the fans love this man.
Yes.
And that's because you guys saw him grow, right? You
Yeah.
guys saw him in NXT?
He came out of NXT, and then before that, he was Eli Drake when I think he wrestled for Impact back in the day.
And now he's like a WWE star. Everyone
Yes.
loves him. And I don't buy into him at all. He's way too gimmicky. I think the LA Knight name is like super whack. I like the straight up like wrestler names, you know? By the way, that's a great segment. We got to come up with like a batch of like wrestler names.
Oh,
maybe we'll
there's
do that
so
for the
many.
WrestleMania
Yeah, that'd be
episode.
fun.
Yeah, we come up with wrestler names. That'd be fun. And we come up with personas. We're going to become wrestlers. Yeah, I don't love LA Knight. And I want
get
to.
it. The biggest critique a lot of people have for him is that he's basically a Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like he's merged their characters into one.
Which, like, from like a storytelling perspective and like just a marketing perspective, it's probably the best thing you can do. Is
Yeah.
you know the two most successful wrestlers in the past 40 years? Yeah, I'm gonna copy one of them.
Exactly. Like his in-ring style is a lot like Stone Cold, that kind of independent, like I'm just going to do what I want, like no authority. And then but his speaking mannerisms and his his verbiage and then his cadence is taken directly from Dwayne.
But do you think he's a great wrestler? Do you think he's a great like performer?
I think he is a good performer. The nice part about is he brings back that old school like power style in a lot of ways.
The style that I hate.
Yeah, and you have to enjoy like Attitude Era kind of power moves, but it works well because he does feed off the crowd, and I think what gets him over the most is his ability on the microphone. Because he is one of the best talkers. I think it's him and Kevin Owens are two of the best talkers on a mic
I love
right
Kevin
now.
Owens.
Like Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, yes. You can get into half the guys in AEW because they all know how. But in WWE guys, like I
think Randy Orton's good on a mic.
he's good on a mic, but he's not. He's not.
He doesn't
just
do
gonna,
monologues. He doesn't do like 5-minute soliloquies about how he's gonna beat your face in a bloody pool.
Exactly. There's very few guys who could captivate you for that long in that aspect.
I get that. Don, what's another storyline?
The other big title match coming in is Logan Paul and Kevin Owens.
Oh, so I mean, let's talk about Logan Paul.
Sure.
I'm gonna take you guys on a story time. It's 2020. I'm really getting into YouTube rabbit holes, and I stumble across Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. I stumble across a guy who has 9 million followers. I know,
but it's just not really your sphere typically.
Not at all. Not my demographic at all. And I buy into it. I start watching his vlogs every day. I buy into Logan. I'm like, this guy's a changed man. This is the bro. Like this is a cool guy. Like I'm not like obsessive, and I become a fan. I've slowly taken a step back, but I appreciate the brand that he built for himself.
Sure.
But over time, that rooting for this man has slowly been taken away. Prime success has kind of made me a bit of a hater.
Sure.
Because I'm like, oh, you're marketing to just children. Children are just
It feels kind of gross.
Energy drinks, whatever. That's fine. I can look past that. Oh, you're robbing people from crypto, scams. And I'm like
allegedly. I'm just going to throw allegedly on there because I don't remember the official court case rulings.
Who knows? But like, there's a couple things. He had like a Maverick Club incident, or like, which is like his only. It doesn't matter. The man can wrestle his ass off.
He is gifted as an athlete.
He's a very gifted athlete.
His work with Ricochet, I think, is like just showed it. It's proven it.
I believe if he was like, man, not even full time, more of a part time guy who wrestles like once a month, he would be a mega super WWE star. He still is, but I mean a front of the poster fighting Roman Reigns for a championship type star.
Like he did face Roman last year, I think, in Saudi Arabia, but no one thought he was going to win that one.
That's not a real match, right?
Like, Saudi pay-per-views are weird.
You want to hear a fun fact?
Let's hear a fun fact.
A few years ago, Saudi Arabia allowed movies for the first time, and one of the movies that they introduced to the public was the Emoji Movie.
Oh gosh,
there you go.
That's a weird one.
What's another part of this?
And then that's the big storyline is how Logan Paul had to have his hand rebuilt.
He has metal inside of his hand.
So his finisher is that KO punch. The big one with Kevin Owens is he actually hurt his wrist a few weeks back, so he's been having a brace on his wrist, a giant cast, and it's them going back and forth over who has a better punch. and it's just the simplest thing, but it's the most
Is there a
funny
world
thing.
where we just get them standing in a ring, just throwing blows?
I think so, because how they're hyping this up is Kevin Owens is a guy who doesn't stay down.
No.
And that's his gimmick. He's the prize fighter. And then he's not going to have the cast on for the match. But we'll see if there's shenanigans and how that goes. But I think that's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a blast.
And then we have the 2 Royal Rumbles, the men's and women's.
Okay, let's go into the women's first.
The women's first.
Which is, last year was my first time really watching a Royal Rumble since I was like a child.
Yeah, like start to finish.
That's so electric. It's
It is
so much fun.
exciting.
It's so much fun. Like, you're like watching everybody fight, and then you see the countdown, and everyone's like, "Who's next?" And it's almost like I haven't felt that excitement of like who's about to come out since like do you remember watching old Pokemon episodes, and they'd be like, "Who's that Pokemon?"
Yes.
And you're just like, "It's Caterpie!" And they're like, "It's Ghastly!" And you're like, "Damn it!" You know, like, but you're so excited because you're like,
you're just
Rikishi's
amped up.
here. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's so sick.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, women's.
So the women's one, we have a few big surprise. I think that. So I wanted to talk about some surprise guests.
Yeah.
So we'll
jump
get
straight
into
women's
some.
surprise guest.
I think this is going to be the debut of Jade Cargill. I don't know. She's a former AEW signee, jumped over to WWE the past few years, or not past few years, past few weeks, months, and she hasn't made her in-ring debut yet.
Yeah.
The thing with her though is she is like 6'5", 6'6", and jacked. Like and she's very green in wrestling, but has the look.
What is green in wrestling mean?
Green is like you're a rookie.
Gotcha.
You haven't got a lot of reps in.
Still getting your sea legs.
Exactly. She
Gotcha.
did well in AEW, doing the TBS Championship for a while. She's coming over. I think this is going to be her debut, and I think it's going to be great just to see her just turn into the monster. They're going to use her as that monster role, that heel. I'm just going to it's rumored that she might go. They might use her to break the record on most eliminations for the women in one Royal Rumble at 13.
That's insane.
That's the best debut you can get.
No, yeah.
Like, imagine
is this
coming-
them building her up though?
This is her building. Like, they've been doing segments with her in the last few weeks where she'll just pop up on the screen behind somebody after an interview, like when people are walking away, and it's her just looking at her watch or her tapping on her wrist, like, it's my time, and
That's
it's just
sick.
like they're building her up in a fun way.
So that's the women's. I want to hear your prediction for who you think could win it.
Okay,
Even though we
so
don't know the whole
we don't know the
roster.
we don't know the whole roster. That's the fun part about Royal
Yeah.
Rumbles. You don't know everyone who shows up.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the most wide open Royal Rumble, men's and women's. There's not one definitive way you can go.
Yeah.
Like, as compared to the last couple of years, it's like, okay, there's like 2 or 3 big names, and it feels like that's who we're going to go with. We know the storyline. This feels wide open. I think the biggest one right now is Becky Lynch. So you can set up her versus Nia Jax in the future, which I think would be fun. Considering Nia broke her nose, like actually broke her nose a few years ago, didn't pull a punch properly, and just shattered her face.
Like in real life, shattered her face.
Oh yeah, that's what propelled Becky Lynch to be a star. Is Nia
That's
Jax
fire.
didn't pull a punch correctly, broke Becky Lynch's nose, and her face was just
Since
bleeding.
we're on the women's,
Yes.
and I already talked about the LA Knight. There is a woman in wrestling that I know I'm going to get flamed for on this take.
Sure.
I'm not a big fan of Nikki Flair. Is it Nikki Flair?
Charlotte
Flair?
Flair, Nikki Cross, Charlotte Flair, but yeah, you're talking
Gotcha.
Charlotte Flair. She's out for the next year. ACL.
Oh, sick. I don't have to watch her.
I think she's one of the most talented
That's what
women.
you say. I'm not a believer. I am a Rhea Ripley stand to the
'cause
day I die.
That's the big difference. Is Ripley's
Yeah.
better at her character, I think.
I think way better.
And I think
way better.
so. There's that aspect. You might give it to Bailey, break up Damage Control, or because
good.
that's being rumored a lot. Like, you've been seeing the on-screen product that Bailey's kind of the
They're teasing it.
They're teasing it like she's
Yeah.
kind of the black sheep of the
like
group
it.
now. I think that'd be fun of her going back, winning the Royal Rumble, kind of continuing that beef as on the way to WrestleMania. Her leave the group and then challenge Io Sky, the head of the group, for her belt. I think that kind of story just writes itself in a big way.
That's a fun storyline.
That
where,
is.
That'd be fun.
That would
be
I
a
think
lot
that'd
of
be a
fun.
good time. And then you also I think the safe pick is Bianca Belair. Like, if you
Bianca's the face of women's WWE right now.
I think she is, and
She's
that,
amazing.
That feels like the safe pick of, hey, because it's so wide open, because there's a lot of options for stories, let's just get us to somebody who could get us to Mania.
She's also every time I watch her fight, she puts on an insane performance.
Oh, she is so talented.
I love her character. I love the braids. I love the vibe that she gives. I love that, like, even though you know she's gonna win, she's literally the hero of the WWE world.
Yes. Yeah.
She really sells it. There are times where I've seen her fight where I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna let her win this time. And of course, it's dumb brain me being like, of course they let her win.
But see, that's the point.
That's the point.
If you
and I buy in, and I'm in. And that's
sells
what's
it so
getting me
well.
become a fan.
I can't wait. I hope they bring her into Bobby Lashley's group because her husband Montez Ford is a part of that group.
Correct.
Like, and so I think her pairing up there would make a really good stable going forward.
That'd be sick.
Like that would just they would just look so intimidating.
Let's talk about the men's.
All right, men's Royal Rumble here. So the Sports Illustrated released a article on the 24th.
Yeah.
Leaking some of the current plans for WrestleMania.
Oh.
And it's leaked because that's the part of wrestling that's fun for a lot of us nerds.
Yeah.
Like there's...
You guys want to know the roster before...
Exactly.
You don't really want to... You want to know your presents before you unwrap them on Christmas Day.
And then half the time it's wrong. Like half the time you're just completely wrong. That's the best part.
So before you go through your list of surprises, I actually wrote myself a list of surprises.
Okay.
Actually, we'll go one for one.
Sure.
Give me one. Give me one.
The big one, the big name that I see returning. Well, I mean, the big one is my mind is Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock,
the former former MMA UFC fighter, jumped over in the Attitude Era in the early 2000s, late 90s. When he left WWE, he had nothing to do with it. He and Vince had a falling out. Vince is gone. Triple H is running it. No.
What?
Do not shout out Vince.
What happened to Vince?
There's so much legal stuff there we'll get into. That's not,
Okay, no shout out to Vince.
No shout out to Vince.
No shout out to Vince.
Like he's a terrible human
I'm being told by the people behind the studio, no shout out to
Vince. But he just signed a Legends contract in the last few weeks.
Gotcha.
So it's finally back into the WWE for the first time in like 20 years. So they're saying he might come back. Like his gimmick was the most dangerous man in the world at the time.
He's an ex-UFC fighter.
Like we're talking UFC like 5.
So that is really funny because my first guest is Conor McGregor. So everything has a point.
Yes.
Conor McGregor is promoting a movie, Roadhouse. It's clear that he's doing steroids. WWE loves guys like that. He's not allowed to fight in the UFC anymore because of that. I think he's perfect for his persona. This would be a great introduction for him to get in, just go in, knock a couple people out, maybe even win. Like I said, there's also habits on like Roadhouse coming out.
And that is the big thing. Trailer. The WWE does manage a lot with other guest stars.
And they would bring someone in like that I'd be like, holy, it's Conor McGregor.
I mean, they did it with Johnny Knoxville for Jackass.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the tamest part of my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
A guy that's rumored at the moment, he apparently is rumored to is going to be backstage, might make an appearance, is X-Pac.
I don't know who that is.
Former stablemate of Triple H when they did DX.
Is this like a deep cut where like if he comes out, all the wrestling fans are gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's X-Pac"?
Yeah, it's a.
Because like last year, Booker T came out, did the splits, and I was like, "That's Booker T, man."
Yeah, that is.
I want another Booker T level-esque like.
He's gonna be that guy in a lot of ways because we haven't seen him since 2005, I think, in a ring. And it's just because he got a little bit older. But yeah, I think him coming back, even if it's just for 30 seconds and he gets knocked out, you're going to see that stadium pop.
It's 20 dudes fighting in a ring. It's
30
dudes fighting in a ring. You got to have a couple guys that like just run in and get smashed right away.
Yes, which I think is just going to be great to have him in there.
My next guest is actually a 2.
Sure.
I'm going with Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, who both starred in the wrestling movie The Iron Claw.
Yeah. Well,
these are 2 guys that were the hottest people on the planet. Now, I know asking for 2 of the biggest stars in the world right now to come out and wrestle in the Royal Rumble is crazy, but the WWE has pull like that. They just made $5 billion off of Netflix. Like,
well, you know who's going to be the big name coming up for WrestleMania is The Rock's supposed to wrestle.
Correct.
So, like, they have that Hollywood pull still.
Now, I can see maybe not Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White not coming in, but the actual wrestler that they portray, what if they can get him?
I don't think they will. The Von
Von Erichs.
yeah, the Von Erichsen family.
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, okay, so most of them sadly have tragically had a lot happen to that family.
I figured they wouldn't all come.
Yeah, but I don't think so. Just because that. So a lot of the stunt coordinators, were actual are wrestlers or former wrestlers who trained in the movie. The biggest one was Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah,
Eddie
Guerrero's son.
He still has a lot of affiliation to AEW at the moment.
Oh, really?
He was up until he split off for the movie. He was an AEW wrestler.
Gotcha.
And same with Eddie's wife was over there for a while.
So probably not going to get them.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it would be nice. It would be cool to see Zach. I think if Zac Efron
and Jeremy Allen White,
those two probably, but not a lot of the technical guys behind the scenes.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm shooting in the dark right now.
No, I know.
The next two are ridiculous.
And then the most favored to be there always pops up around this time of year, Brock Lesnar. He's most likely going to come back for this one. He always shows up around this time. I'm surprised he's still wrestling because it came out same as Kenny Omega. He has
I like Kenny Omega.
Like ulcers or some kind of like bump on his digestive tract.
Of course,
that could like if they rupture.
That guy's an iron gut.
Well, if they rupture, like you could be sent to the ER immediately. Like it's like, and so a lot of people are like, why are you two still competing? And they're like, it's for the love of the game at this point.
At some point, incredible. You just those wrestlers love it though. Like,
yeah, it's an addiction for a lot of these guys because we've seen. I mean, Ric Flair was doing it into his 70s.
Yeah, my next one is Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee is a realistic,
very realistic.
Move. My only thing that can hold him back is he has a contract with ESPN, but because it is a pay-per-view event,
it's different. He can
show up. Yeah,
so he did WrestleMania last year. Did the punt kick, kicked the football.
Yeah,
and the Austin Theory there could happen.
You got another one? Or are you done?
No, go ahead because I was going into a little bit more stories of possible winners.
I got one last one.
Let's hear it.
It's a wrestler that we all loved growing up.
Sure.
Someone that I didn't think that we were going to get ever again.
Okay.
But I think we're going to get Stone Cold.
He has been rumored to go to last year's WrestleMania. He has been rumored to do a lot.
So the rumors have been going around.
Yes.
On top of that, his presence on Instagram and Twitter have started to notably go up.
Okay.
I'm starting to get the feeling, what if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's coming back, right?
Yes.
That's the tease.
It's semi-confirmed. It's going to be him and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Why not start the idea? Maybe we're going to get a Roman Reigns, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson rematch fight in WrestleMania instead.
That would be interesting.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
And this is the introduction of that storyline. Because as we all know, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble is where those storylines start getting planted.
Yeah, we get 2-3 months. It's literally Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber, which is going to be in Australia this year. And there's going to be...
in Australia?
Yeah, in Perth.
That's so cool.
And then it's going to go WrestleMania, I think, in Philadelphia.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, so and I think that leads into, for the women's, I think we might see Billie Kay from the Iconics make her return. Mm-hmm. I know she just gave birth like a few weeks ago, if not a couple months ago.
That will never stop her.
I think so because like it's her and
wrestlers are crazy.
Oh, they are. I always forget her tag team partner's name. I wrote it down. I'm trying to find it really quick. Anyway, I forget her tag team partner off the top of my head, but Billie Kay, but Billie Kay is currently pregnant, so I think it's gonna out of both of them, it's gonna be interesting there. We might also see the return of Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné.
Yeah.
Which I think would be great.
I literally just read that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she might come back because it's a rumor that one of her close friends, Naomi, when they walked out together, Naomi's coming back into the WWE fold now after she did her indie scene for a little while. Which I think having those two back would elevate the women's division like crazy. They are such good performers.
Which is crazy because, like, growing up, women's wrestling was not really a thing.
It wasn't treated as real, like in a lot of ways, which sucked.
Over the past 10 years, women's wrestling has become, I wouldn't say the focal point, but it's such an integral part of wrestling now.
It is.
I genuinely love the women's wrestling.
Oh, it's
gimmicks and
amazing.
everything. It's so much fun.
And I didn't like how even through the early 2000s, it was still treated as the sideshow. Like, because wrestling in a lot of ways is a carnival-esque sideshow.
No, for sure. They definitely take on those vibes, and they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it felt like that women's, like the divas, like how they
Yeah.
ran the divas and the lingerie matches and everything, was the sideshow to the sideshow.
For sure.
But now it's being pushed. Like, you have Rhea Ripley, who's arguably the face of the WWE in the modern day in a lot of ways.
Mommy right there.
One I might see, I think would be a nice throwback to that Divas era, like a woman who tried to push it forward, is AJ Lee.
I don't know who that is.
That's CM Punk's wife.
That's so cool.
And now it's CM Punk's back. She's been posting a lot of videos of her and CM Punk like working
love
out
CM
together,
Punk.
training together, wrestling. So it might be we might get an AJ Lee pop, like, which
love
would
that.
be great for nostalgia there. And if she could make a part-time contract out of it, I think it would be great.
I love that. Is there any other storylines that we got to hit about Royal Rumble?
A couple that might get set up here. We have Gunther, who came out on
know who
Monday,
that is.
who threatened to chase Seth Rollins when Rollins is healed up for WrestleMania. So we might get a Gunther match there.
What if we don't get Seth Rollins back, though? I don't think we're going to get it.
I'm iffy on. I think what would be the best matchup is Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. Just two giant mammoths of human beings fighting over the Intercontinental
That'd be
title.
sick.
I think that would be great.
And I hate that kind of wrestling, but I'd watch that.
Well, because they're both technically, like, they're both huge guys
They're
that are
both
going to
good
hit each
wrestlers.
other,
Yeah.
but they're both technically sound and great wrestlers on top of it. You have Cody Rhodes, which might see, like, he won it last year. We might see him versus CM Punk there.
I think Cody Rhodes is just destined for second place.
And it sucks because that's been the whole storyline of how he needs to hit the top of the mountain, finish the story.
Here's the thing. You can't get your logo tattooed on your neck and expect me to root for you. That's just not what's going to happen.
I mean, it kind of goes hard.
I don't think so.
agree.
I think it's a bad logo. I think that's the worst part about it.
Well, it has a lot of family heritage.
I
for him.
know.
That's
He's
the
like,
big
it
one.
means a lot to me, and that's why I got it on my neck, and you don't shame people for their tattoos. But I'm going to shame
I
him.
get it.
No, yeah.
And then the other big one is Drew McIntyre and seeing where he finishes out in this one. I think it would be great to see, because Drew won the title in 2020. Having him replay what he did to win the Royal Rumble, which is Claymore Brock Lesnar out of the ring. Like, hit him with a kick to the face and flip him over the ropes.
That's a good one.
And then him get up to celebrate, like, I can do this again, only to have him just dumped over immediately.
I would love that.
That would be such a crazy spot. But I think that would be something for fun, like a good story arc, is that could build a great rivalry with whoever gets him.
There's beautiful moments in the Royal Rumble of, like, pure comedy of, like, people knocking each other out and then another guy, like, celebrating for half a second only for him to get thrown out the ring the next second. Or, like, three guys getting thrown out at once and they don't even put the camera on it. They're just like, all right, that happened. Next.
Yeah, moving on.
Someone else is already running down the ramp.
Yeah.
Like, it's Royal Rumble. I know we probably, like,
It's so
it's
chaotic.
a hard sell for people that are like, wrestling, dude, really. But
This is the entry. I think it's
so,
the best.
This was my entry
point.
last year.
Yes.
I bought into it. I sat down with my friend. I had a beer. Pretend you're watching Die Hard or a movie that just has a bunch of action. You buy into that, buy into this, have a good time with your boys. It's a fun time.
It's a great time.
Yeah. Let's move on to Gambling Ring.
Okay.
We're gonna go into Gambling Ring. But I want to talk about the games last week before we get into the games this week.
Sure.
So we'll do
A quick recap.
Quick recap. Don, little victory lap. Congratulations.
Great game. It was
AFC
a great
Championship
one.
game.
Yes.
Ravens, Texans. I already talked about how I feel about the Texans. CJ Stroud is a liar. He's a fib. He's not that good of a quarterback, and the Ravens proved it right away. No, but in all honesty, I really do believe all that I just said. Yeah, that's the energy you're getting.
Okay. That's the tone. All right.
The Ravens defense is so good, and I know I
Yes.
keep saying this, but
No,
like
it is insanely good.
I feel like this is the first time America got to see how good the Ravens defense can really be. And like people that didn't really get to watch the nitty gritty of like the Ravens, because the Ravens aren't like a nationally brand team, you know?
We get a couple prime time a year, but
Yeah.
nothing huge.
like Lamar's the most quiet superstar in the league, and he's about to
Yes.
win his second MVP probably.
Yeah.
The Ravens firing in all cylinders. Everyone
Yes.
on the Ravens is playing at another level.
everyone's elevated their game. They're hungry at the moment.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Last week,
Just talk about last week. We'll get into next week in a second.
Last week, Ravens' first game in a very long time. Not a single sack, not a single interception.
Wait, they didn't sack CJ once?
Never sacked CJ once.
Dude, and they only allowed 3 points?
They allowed negative 0.213 expected points added per play. So every play that's on average, the Texans were taking away from their expected point total.
Insane.
For a team that never allowed a sack.
That's without Marlon Humphrey.
And for a team that never got a sack, never got an interception, fifth best defensive performance since 1999.
That's beautiful.
Like it was a great defensive outing. Because it was just we took everything away. That was the thing. It was just great coverage. Every single. It was
awesome. There were so many times where he had to throw away because the blitz. There's like blitz packages that like would rattle him, and he's like, I have to get off my number.
The fact that we were dropping Mbike like into off the line, go put him in coverage, would just confuse people.
Both DBs would like drop back into coverage, and then he'd be like, "What the heck's happening? Oh wait, no, Patrick Queen's about to kill me.
Yeah,
I got to get out of here."
Which I think that shows a lot of credit to CJ in my mind of the wherewithal of finding the blitz and getting the ball out of his hand, not taking the big hits.
The first half was tough.
Yes, it was very close.
But once the Ravens got into their groove, the Ravens stomp on your throat and they don't give you air. And I love that about them.
They changed it this season, which I'm very thankful for, because the last 2 years, and you've seen it, and you saw me this weekend when we were talking about it, was, oh, we're up by 2 scores, we might lose this game. Because that's the most vulnerable the Ravens have been for the last couple seasons, is when they have the lead.
Let's move on to the other AFC game, Chiefs-Bills. I made a lot of money on the Chiefs game.
Yep.
I told you all the Chiefs were going to win money line. Straight up, they were going to win. Don feels a certain way about the reffing in that game.
It wasn't the best.
Correct.
But I think the Bills shot themselves in the foot. It was not... You cannot blame the reffing for the Bills' loss. You cannot.
That is a completely different tone than I thought you were coming with.
No.
Because I watched the game with you, and
yes,
the tone was quite literally the opposite of that.
The tone... in my mind, still...
Yes.
The Chiefs stole one. They got away with it.
Correct.
And that's it.
That's how you win games, though.
That's how you win games.
That's how you win Super Bowls.
It works. I'm not going to fault the Chiefs for it. I don't think it's on them at all for this case.
I don't blame the kicker on this.
No, because...
I don't blame Josh Allen. I blame...
if anything, you were out of linebackers. The Bills were literally out of linebackers. They couldn't play anymore. Like, their defense had nobody left.
There was like a play where Josh Allen's running and then he fumbles it, and instead of the Chiefs landing on it,
Kincaid knocks it out. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, and then
Kincaid saved 2 fumbles that game.
Correct. There's some could argue that the Chiefs in the second half should have scored every single time they touched the ball if they don't fumble it out of bounds, or fumble it into the end zone, which is the worst rule in professional sports.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It makes no sense.
Like, if you're going to fumble it out the back of the end zone, pick it up from the 25 at least.
I think it makes more even sense to give like a defensive safety and then the offense gets the ball back. Like that makes more sense to me than like they don't get the ball back.
It should be a safety. Like, in my mind, it should. If you're going to fumble it forward, which is an illegal thing to do. If you fumble forward, it's illegal any other time.
Yeah.
Like, if it's batted forward. So if you fumble the ball forward and it goes out of the end zone, that's a safety in my mind.
I think it should count as safety.
Yeah.
And then the offense gets the ball right away.
Yeah, you do the safety punt, but give it to the team that fumbled. Yeah.
Correct. That's how I feel. Now, Josh Allen had a wide open touchdown. He got hit a little bit. Patrick Mahomes makes that throw. I'm not blaming Josh Allen for this. He played insane.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs dropping that deep bomb. Hit him in the hands.
Correct. There's a lot of talk about Stephon Diggs possibly not being an elite receiver anymore.
I mean, this season it's
been a tough. It's been a bit of a drop off. I also don't even want to blame like Tyler Bass. I really do think that the Bills' ceiling is the divisional round. I think the way this team is constructed, they are not built to go further. They don't have a proper running game. Their defense can
James Cook is good, but they don't commit to it.
They don't commit to it.
Yes.
They commit to the Josh Allen running game, which is cool. That's what he does. But they don't do it the same way Baltimore does it. They don't do it the same way that even the Chiefs run Patrick Mahomes.
You can't have, like, I understand having your leading rusher, like Ravens fan.
Yeah.
You can have your leading rusher be your quarterback.
Your man had
That's
100
fine.
yards.
But at the same time, you can't expect him to be your top running back.
No, cannot.
And that's the big difference.
Bad. That leads us into Chiefs-Ravens in the AFC game.
Yes.
Don, give me, out of 10, how nervous are you right now?
When I woke up this morning, I was at a 4.
Okay.
As the day's gone on, it's been elevating. I'm at I'm 6.5, 7 right now. I'm nervous. I've been getting progressively. I've been progressively getting more and more nervous today. And it's just been today talking to people.
All right.
Because everyone is making me nervous now.
I'm at a 4.
Okay.
I'm at a 4.
Sure.
I'm very confident. I think the line is perfect.
3.5 is a great line.
Is perfect.
That's a great line.
I gave you the stat last week. Patrick Mahomes underdog on the road is undefeated. He's lost 1.
He's 0-2 on the road. I forget the specific name of the ref, but not this season. But yeah, go ahead.
When I look at the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes does enough to always win the game.
Yes.
This is a line that I will bet the Chiefs, and I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to bet the Chiefs every time here. 3.5?
It's not much.
Feels like a money line bet.
Yeah,
and then I look at the Ravens, and I look at Lamar, and this is something I told you yesterday. Lamar Jackson, and I'm not being hyperbolic here.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson is my favorite athlete that's not a Colt.
Yeah.
In the NFL. He's my favorite football player that is not an Indianapolis Colt of all time.
Sure. That's
of all time.
That's surprising.
He's my favorite.
I was like, in the modern day, sure. All time, surprising.
Of all time,
that's very shocking.
He is my favorite non-Indianapolis Colt of all time.
Okay.
I love him. He's damn near the same age as me. I think we're actually the same age. I've watched him from high school. I followed him in college.
Yeah,
I saw him win a Heisman. I saw him get drafted. I've been rooting for him even when no one, even fans on his own team, didn't want him drafted on that team.
Mm-hmm.
I can't bet against him here. I have a future on this team.
Yeah.
I believe that this Ravens defense is real. I believe that this Ravens defense is going to hit Patrick Mahomes in the face. Here's the thing that really got me over the edge.
Okay.
I took the coaching away.
Sure.
I took the offense, the defense, even the special teams because they're damn near neck and neck.
All right.
That stadium,
was loud last week.
It was electric. Now, Patrick Mahomes can shut you up. Those Baltimore guys, this is what they've wanted.
They are rowdy right now. They
are ready for this. They are built for this. They are going to give this team absolute hell. Give me the Ravens minus 3.5.
I love it.
I know you don't have the balls to pick here.
Oh, I don't. I don't. And it's what's making me nervous is the Sean Smith referee. That's more than anything. What's making me more nervous.
Don sent me a video of this guy going through
it's a conspiracy theory, but it's not.
It's not a conspiracy theory. There's statistical data showing that the referee on the Ravens game likes to leans towards the away team.
Yes. League average for the home team to win is 50.3% of the time. When Sean Smith is the lead referee and it's his crew, home teams win about 40.6% of the time.
Yeah.
That could be explained by a lot of different reasons. Home and away splits aren't always the best. The one that scares me is away teams, under Sean Smith's career since 2017, away teams cover the spread 69.7% of the time.
Yeah.
30% goes to the home team, 30 and change. So that's what worries me.
So do you think maybe
the fact that they went and the NFL decided after Bills Chiefs last week, which outside of a Super Bowl was the most watched game in the NFL history.
50 million.
They decide out of the 8 referees that we have eligible to ref games right now, because you have there's a rule with referees where if you ref the wild card game, you cannot, or if you ref the divisional round, you can't ref the championship.
But it's also not his full crew.
It is all except for one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've rotated one referee.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean much in my opinion. But essentially you have, if you ref the previous week in playoffs, you can't ref the next week. Correct. And then, especially with AFC NFC Championships, they don't want anyone who hasn't ref beyond a wild card game.
You think they brought in a ringer?
I think they brought, because it's interesting that you have the eight referees that are an eligible pool for this 8 referee crews.
Yeah.
And for the Chiefs-Ravens game, you pick the referee who by far is the most biased to road teams, where if you're only covering the spread 30% of the time as a home team when he's your ref.
Yeah.
And then on the Lions-49ers game, you pick by far the most biased ref towards home teams, where home teams cover 60% of the time when he's the referee.
We're going to get into that game.
We'll get into the game, but it's weird to me that you choose the two most, out of your 8 options, the 2 crews who are in the most extreme in their biases and in their play calls.
Here's my part of that whole conspiracy. The NFL would not, they don't want a Niners-Chiefs rematch. They like it
Do
when...
they not? Those are the 2 biggest draws right now in terms of viewership.
Yeah.
You have Taylor Swift with the Chiefs. You have all the Swifties.
And then you have all the superstars on the 49ers.
49ers marketability. And Juszczyk's wife is friends with Swift.
Yeah, no, it all
does.
locks in for storylines.
It's the locks in for those storylines.
Yeah.
That's what makes me a little bit nervous personally.
Yeah, because like the Ravens really don't have any ties to the Lions or...
No, it's not. I mean, we're both... You don't have a lot of big marketable stars for either team. And that's because both teams are more focused on work, grind, win.
Yeah.
They're not doing the commercials. They're not doing the big Aaron Rodgers style interviews on the McAfee show. They're in-house focused on winning, which not taking away from 49ers and Chiefs. It works for them. It's just different team cultures that have been built.
Yeah. I think we got a little ahead.
Yeah, so sorry, we jumped a little bit ahead here, but it's just that's the one thing that's worrying me. If you go through Sean Smith, like he calls
Don's worried.
Yeah, I'm worried because it is
and
if you look at his splits, you look at his percentages, he is insane.
For those that
calls.
don't know Don can accept a loss. He will not accept a straight up loss unless it's a beatdown.
Because
if this game is close, and the Ravens lose by 3 points or something like that, and they are negative in referee differential in yards, Donovan will be blaming the refs. 100% fact.
To me, if it's within 30, 40 yards of penalty differential.
That happens in regular games.
Exactly. That's a regular game.
Yeah.
Sure.
The number's 80 for you.
The number is over 65, 70 yards. If that's the differential.
That can happen. Well,
but because the Ravens don't get penalized.
Yeah.
No, the Ravens are one of the least penalized teams this season.
I agree with you.
Out of nowhere it 180s in just this one game.
What if it's like
that's the difference right there.
What if it's a pass interference call in a crucial moment?
No, pass interference, you throw that out the window. I'm talking illegal formations. We're talking holding calls.
You like to scream holding a lot. You're a big. That's hold. I'm quite the opposite.
In the divisional round last week, 65% reduction in holding calls per game.
That's crazy.
They just never called it last week for any of the 4 games.
Let the boys play.
Which I would rather that. I would rather let the boys play than ticky-tacky calls.
That helps you more than anyone.
And that's what I prefer. Well, that doesn't just help the Ravens this week. Everybody. That helps the league. That helps viewership. You don't need ref ball.
Let the boys play. Bucks versus Lions. Baker, shout out to you. You deserve to get paid. You're probably not going to. You had a great season. Mike Evans, you showed everyone why you're Mr. Consistent.
They went so far above and beyond expectations.
I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
Everyone did. Yeah. Everyone thought, okay, it's washed up Baker. Just throw him on a team. Let him run.
Congrats.
You have aging wide receiver core. Defense that is still a holdover from the Super Bowl run.
Kind of.
There's a few guys left that are going to be phased out. And they came out and they showed up for most of the season. It was a fun watch.
If you're a Buccaneers fan, you're going into the future being kind of excited.
I can see why.
It's a good spot. Lions, killing it. You guys are amazing.
Yes.
Jared Goff playing his butt off. I hit that Amon-Ra touchdown plus money. I told you guys to hit it. We got it in the pick 6. Laporta might be the most dominant rookie tight end I've ever seen play football ever.
He is not putting up big yardage games typically.
He's just
always open.
Yeah, and we hit the yards, receiving yards.
We hit the receiving yards. We hit his
right away. Actually,
he is just always he's the best friend of the quarterback. He's the safety valve, and he does it perfectly.
Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a top 5 running back if he's not already in the next year.
Okay,
he's electric, and everything they're doing in Detroit is the right thing.
Yes.
They're doing great.
They just need a little work on their secondary, and this team
they need
gets
a lot of work.
Terrifying.
Their secondary is bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Niners, Packers.
Packers showed a lot of flaws in the Niners game.
I was wrong about Jordan Love.
Yeah.
He was slaying it. I know he threw a game-losing interception.
That's fine. In my mind, I could look past that. If it's your first season starting the NFL, I could look past one bad throw in a critical moment.
We took Packers plus 9.5.
Yes, we did.
Hit. We took the under.
Yes.
Hit. During the game, when the Packers were up 10, I took Niners money line with my friend.
Sure.
That hit.
Yeah. No, that's,
I hit a small target. Bam, nailed it. That's what I do. Niners win. Shout out to the Packers. They have a lot going forward.
Considering
with little.
Other than Aaron Jones on that team, who by far just incredible running game by him this week. Not a single one of their weapons on their offense is older than a second-year player.
Yeah, they have the youngest team in the league. Second youngest
team in the league, and so I think that's a great core to build around.
It's insane. The young teams have been winning.
Yes.
That's the Texans, the Colts, the Packers. Those are teams that are young, doing stuff that probably shouldn't be doing at this point.
No, they're exceeding expectations, and it's fun to watch.
So, Lions, Niners, NFC Championship game in San Francisco. It's not supposed to rain.
There might be a drizzle, I heard, but it's not going to be much.
I want the Niners to lose this game. And it's not because I don't like Brock Purdy or George Kittle. I like the Niners. Yeah. I like Kyle Shanahan. I want to watch them win a Super Bowl eventually. And I think the window is this year. I think this is their only chance because it's time to pay the piper. The Detroit Lions are such a good story.
It is such a fun moral story to root for them.
The football gods don't do that. They know that the Lions fans can die happy even getting to an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, for a good amount.
Lions at 7.
Yes.
I see them backdoor covering this game. I'm going with the Lions plus 7.
I'm doing the Lions plus 7 as well in this matchup.
I love it. You told me you weren't going to give a pick.
Oh,
you liar.
I have picks. Because in the Chiefs-Ravens, I'm taking the under 45.
Okay. Pick 6.
No, I'm taking that for gambling ring. No, pick 6 is going to be prop focus for me this week.
I have the line 44.5 right now.
I'll still take that in my mind. The under has hit KC game 71% of the time.
Gotcha.
Big thing, John Ewing of Bet MGM, who was coming out with some stats. 72% of the bets, of the money placed in Vegas so far on this game for the over-unders, 72% have been on the over of the 45 line. And the line moved down a half point. To me, that says sharp money is going to be on the under. I know public money has been doing well this season, but playoffs comes a little different. I like the under a little bit more.
I've been betting a lot of under. I mean, I hit every bet last week, so I'm kind of just feeling myself right now.
Sure. But for the Lions 49ers, I'm taking the Lions here. And to me, the big split is 49ers without Debo this season. When he has played 10 or fewer snaps, they've won one game, 1-3.
Yeah, but they remember that stat you gave me last week where it was if he's down by 4 in the fourth quarter?
That was the first time Shanahan's ever hit that. And
Isn't that crazy?
They flipped it immediately.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They were able to do it.
But they flipped over that 4 within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was
still
they
impressive.
never let it sit.
Still impressive.
It's still very impressive.
I love the Lions, and I'm talking it through, and I'm going through my football brain right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they can stop this offense, even without Debo.
I don't think they're going to stop the offense too much. But it's going to be, you can't run the ball super well against the Lions. Their front 7 is good. Hutchinson gets to the QB.
Here's a little reminder.
Yes.
They have the best running back in the NFL.
No, without doubt.
And
McCaffrey,
a really good offensive
McCaffrey
line.
is incredible.
And Hutchinson isn't anything against Williams.
The biggest fear for the Lions defense is Purdy throwing the deep ball.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not the most efficient with it.
He's not the most efficient for the deep ball. Routes. He loves in routes. I think without Debo, it's going to be an Ayuk focus game and a Kittle focus game in the passing game. Because I don't think Ray McLeod, I don't think Jawan Jennings.
I like Jawan Jennings.
I like them too, but I don't think they're over 4 catches guys.
I think Jawan Jennings is a legit number 3 in this league.
I like him as a number 3, but he's not treated as the number 3 on the passing option until there's an injury.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm favoring that. Without Debo, they lost to the Vikings 22-17. They lost to the Browns when Debo got his injury on his other shoulder, and they lost to the Bengals 31-17 without Debo. Debo has not. He was doing some sprints on the sideline during practice on Wednesday. Was a DNP. Has been a DNP all week, even through walkthroughs. He has not yet gotten to the field. If he plays, I'll reevaluate my pick. But as of now, where he's not projected to play, has not been practicing, I think the Lions are going to be able to run the ball really well against the 49ers. We just saw Aaron Jones do it. Since week 12, San Francisco, 22nd in expected in EPA on the per rush attempt, 25th in successful run attempt.
Do you want to get crazy with me?
Let's hear it.
Do you want to do money line with me?
I'm going to sprinkle some small ones. I always do.
We don't have to do a big one.
No, I always do like two. I always
Chiefs.
do like 2 units on the spread, and then like a 1 unit on the money line. Personally, that was going to be my strategy for this weekend.
So, I feel like if you really do believe that the Lions running game will be able to handle this,
I like Montgomery for a touchdown. I like Gibbs I'm going to take them both for a tutty this week because I think that's the death of the 49ers defense is when you play smash mouth and run at them hard.
money line's plus 290 right now.
That's not a bad line for me.
That's a live bet game for me. If the Niners score right off the rip, I probably bet Lions. Money
Sure.
line.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at
I
that.
can get that plus number.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Who do you think is our Super Bowl matchup right now? Make the prediction.
49ers Ravens is the easy one, I think. I would love to see Lions Ravens.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be an incredible smash mouth game.
I think it's Niners Ravens taking the 2-1 seeds. I don't think it's a boring pick because these games are all toss-ups. I think we're about to watch one of the best divisional round games we've seen in a very, very long time.
Agreed.
I think it's about to be a fantastic football weekend.
It's been a lot of fun.
Don, what were we at? 58?
56.
We'll do it next week. We're going to go into pick 6. No bust of the week. No gold star of the week. We're going to give you guys a good one next week. I promise. We're going to go straight into pick 6. Don, give me your 6 best picks of the week.
So we're focusing NFL props this week.
I have a couple different sports.
I know you do.
Yeah.
For me, I'm taking Lamar Jackson under 29.5 pass attempts in this game. Ravens.
I like that a lot.
Ravens do really well when they control the ball, control the clock. Lamar has gone under this line in 7 out of his last 10, 9 out of 13 wins overall this season. KC do not cover the run very well this year.
Not great.
Not great. We saw Josh Allen go in bananas. He had 12 for 76. Since week 12,
You're
they are
on it today. You got the stats, everything.
Oh, I'm coming prepped.
You're good.
You've
been watching all the stats because you're worried.
Yeah, no, I've been hyper focused on this game all week. Chiefs this season bottom third of the league and runs out of shotgun, which Lamar loves to do on his QB draws. I think that's going to be a big separator. If the Ravens are able to be successful on the ground, Lamar's not going to be throwing that much. I think he's going to be able to control it on through his feet.
I know you took the under. I'm taking the over in the Ravens-Chiefs game.
Sure.
44.5 is kind of a juicy line. You're telling me I would say the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL get to play against each other and they're not going to score 20 apiece. Does that sound right? Does that sound right?
It sounds weird. I know.
That game feels 27-20. That's my score prediction right now. That's the over.
Okay.
That's how I'm feeling emotionally.
I wouldn't hate it.
I'm also taking the over in the Lions 49ers game. And
I like that one a lot more.
This is a fool's pick because last week I was like, there's no way they get the over, and they didn't.
Yeah.
51.5. The Lions are going to get in the 20s.
Yes, they score. They know how to get the ball in the end zone, even if it's a backdoor way.
That's what I'm saying. They're a backdoor cover team. Dan Campbell fights and fights and fights.
Yes, he does.
He's a over machine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys a little teaser. The pray for the parlays, those 2 overs combined. Just letting you know.
I wouldn't be mad at that. A nice teaser for the weekend I was looking at was honestly the Chiefs and the over for the Lions game on a 7-point teaser.
I saw people teasing the Chiefs to get them to plus 2.5. Oh no.
The Ravens to get them +2. They flip the line. Yeah. That's not a bad one either.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. And I was like, the odds weren't that bad. And I was like, I think it was like -1 or 330, and I was like, that's not awful.
No, if you take the plus the fifth over at 54, take it down by 7 to a 47, and then you take the Chiefs to a plus 10. I think it's minus 160 right now.
That's not bad.
That's not terrible.
That's actually
yeah,
out of luck. Don, give me another one.
My other one, pair with the Lamar one. I'm taking Zay Flowers under 4.5 receptions this week.
I'm gonna need you to just rattle off.
I'll keep going a little bit. Yeah. Zay Flowers under 4.5 receptions. Flowers is targeted an average of 6.2 targets per game with 4.4 catches. That number is inflated a little bit without Mark Andrews. Andrews is supposed to make a return, so I think we're going to see a little bit more Andrews, a little bit less Zay Flowers there to match up. My other big one is Metcalf Hardman under 1.5 receptions. I think he only gets one catch. That's
such a fun bet.
It's such a fun line.
That's such a fun, like, let's just hope. No McColl.
Well, okay, in games where he's a part of a wide receiver committee, where you see Tony and you see Sky Moore playing, he averages 3 targets, 1 catch. That's just how they operate with him. Tony and Sky Moore are both questionable at practices, but they are seeing limited work at the moment. Hardman, 44% route runs with a 40% targets. He does not get the ball much.
But McColl's always due for like a bomb.
Yeah, but he has been more of the special teams guy recently. He's
sure.
been the punt returner, been the kick returner. I think if you have your 2 other better receivers on the field, like, and Tony arguably is a better receiver, I think,
I agree.
even with Burke hands. I don't think Hardman's going to see a lot of I don't trust Andy Reid in a close game to get him the ball in critical moments, especially after the fumble last week.
What's your next pick?
My next one is I'm taking Christian McCaffrey under 37.5 receiving yards. He's gone under this line 7 out of 10 games.
I feel like he hasn't been receiving the ball as much.
He hasn't. Typically, Detroit is averaging giving up 33.1 receiving yards to the running back at the moment, and only one running back touchdown all season, which was weird, through the air.
That's good stat.
Yeah, that's a very bizarre one there. To me, I think 49ers will target the deep ball a little bit more than the intermediate routes. We saw Rachaad White, who had 3 catches less than McCaffrey on the regular season. So Rachaad White was right there next to McCaffrey in terms of receptions.
Dog.
Still had under 36 yards last week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think McCaffrey under 37.5. I just don't see. He's going to get some checkdowns, but I'm not worried about
That's a good. But once again, McCaffrey's the kind of guy that's like,
he just
one
needs
catch.
one.
And that's something I don't want to bet on.
It is a little nerve-wracking, but
that.
I think they're going to go after Kittle and Ayuk a little bit more.
I hear you. What do you have another one?
I have 2 more.
Okay, give me all your NFL ones.
And at Brock Purdy over 7.5 rushing yards. His average on the season, he is averaging 3.69 yards per carry, and 2.29 carries per game. So that's 8.45 yards a game.
You lost me on this one.
I know. He's averaging almost 8.5 yards per game when he rushes.
Yeah,
like on the season.
Is he going to rush?
I think with Hutchinson and them bringing pressure more, he's going to break the pocket to look for the deep ball a little bit more on the Lions. Mm-hmm. I'm inclined he's going to take at least 3 of those.
You've been the Lions whisperer. You've been very good with Lions gambling.
I like their defense. I am a fan of certain aspects.
Yeah.
I've been chasing them a little bit more this season. Purdy only needs 2 carries and he could get to 8 yards.
Okay.
8 yards is a very low line for, I think.
Don, I'm going to bet this one with you. In good faith, for the pick 6.
Okay.
All right.
And my last one, Lamar over 66.5 rushing yards.
Oh, who could have guessed that?
Yeah, that one's an easy
Lamar's
one.
Lamar's going to run the ball.
Well, I'm taking his under on passing yards and his over on rushing yards. It seems pretty easy for me.
There.
Yeah, like we talked about last week, he averages over 56.5 when he's playing at home. Big thing that they talk about, and they were even talking about last week, in big moments, big games, Lamar likes the ball in his hand. He likes to dictate the offense and likes to have control over what happens.
The best player on the field wants the ball in his hands?
I mean, I know it sounds obvious,
it's crazy.
And that's why I like this line, because it feels obvious.
It's so obvious. 66.5 is
not much for him.
It's actually crazy when you take into account he rushed for 100 last week.
Yeah, you had Josh Allen against the Chiefs put up 6 yards a carry last week.
And I might get flamed for this. I think Lamar Jackson's a better runner with the football than Josh Allen.
I think he's faster and he's able to maneuver a little bit better. Josh Allen just runs through people.
Doesn't get
cool.
hit. Lamar
he throws his body down.
Yeah,
he knows to avoid the big hit.
I'm going to go into another section of with
Sure.
my picks. I'm going to hockey.
Love it. Oh,
Panthers
love it.
versus Penguins. These are both two teams that can score. 6.5 feels like
That's reasonable for them. That's very reasonable for them.
I feel like it's a...
Penguins have had a lot of issues goaltending this season.
Correct.
Yeah, they've been sliding.
I'm not saying the Penguins are going to win. Panthers are favorite. I think Panthers might be able to score 5 by themselves. I think the
5 is high. I think 4 is
the Panthers
realistic.
can score. They've had the most 4+ goal games this year out of any hockey
That's
team.
true.
That's insane.
Yeah, they are a force on their blue zone. Yeah, no, I'm not mad at it. I'm
Now,
not mad at it.
I'm giving this caveat for my next pick. I'm a Kings fan.
Sure.
Kings plus 1.5 against the Avalanche. I have no statistical backing besides this. My friend's going to the game. That's it.
You gotta ride with them. You gotta ride with them.
I'm also undefeated and friend going to the game bets.
Sure.
2 for 2. I'm 2
Sure.
for 2. So let's go for 3 for 3. Kings
Okay.
plus 1.5 against the Avalanche. I'm also going Wisconsin basketball minus 3.5 against Michigan State on Friday night.
Sure.
Wisconsin is known for playing basketball very we're going to stick to the fundamentals, and we're going to pass the ball, and we're not going to take shots. We're going to play in the post, play our mid-range.
Yeah.
That's not what Wisconsin's doing anymore. They're doing that, but now they're playing electric shooting.
They've upped their tempo in a big way.
They went to the transfer portal. They got athletes. They are now flying around. This is a team that I am sneaky might bet to win the Big Ten.
Okay.
And I know that's huge because Purdue is in the Big Ten, and
Yeah,
they
you
have
got
Zach Edey, and he's the best player in college basketball right now. And for those of you who don't know, we're going to get really into college basketball in the next few weeks.
Yes.
So lock in because I love that sport.
Oh, it's incredible to watch.
Last bet, Friday night, Oklahoma City Thunder, money line versus the Pelicans. And I know you're like, why would you money line that? Because it's plus 120.
Why are the Thunder dogs in that one?
Don't know. 7.5 point underdogs.
I'm gonna check injury
There's
reports.
there's no injury reports. I was looking at it too. I was like, all right, Chet's questionable, but he played 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me check one more time. But
Short of a major injury, that doesn't really make too much sense.
that's what I was saying. I was like, okay, there's
Unless
gotta
we're
be
missing something.
no. In fact, there's more. Just Oliver Sarr is supposed to be out for the
For the Pelicans?
Yeah, for the Pelicans. I know for the Thunder. I know the Pelicans are 26-18. They're a very good team.
Yes,
Sixth
Pelicans
in the
are
West.
doing very well.
The Thunder's the number 1 team in the West. They're 31-13. They're very
Unless
good
there's a projection for rest.
No, they're expected to start the whole team. It's a primetime game against a very good team in the West.
Yeah, then I'm not too sure where that line is.
That's why I'm saying hammer plus 120 Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
I love it.
Like it.
Last thing we're going to do today, guys, it's the pray for the parlay.
Yes, sir.
I already talked about it. We're going to take Don's under for the Ravens-Chiefs game, 44.5, and we're going to take Dio's over for the Lions-49ers game, 51.5. You put that in a little parlay together, it's plus 325.
Not bad.
Don't make your money. I know I told you I'm betting on the Ravens-Chiefs also. It's called I'm winning every bet. That's what we're doing. All right? Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. Wait, that threw me off. Music's on. Holy crap. My name is Dio Reynoso. That's Don McBean. And remember,
Pray for the parlay.